First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. In this particular video, we're going to watch Bill Snakes warn about a next pandemic that's coming after the C-19, and he's trying to explain how to stop it now. This is just a plan to keep, the world under medical martial law, and also to attack us, Jake. In one news clip I had made it some time ago, they said that they're going to give out shots. And follow me through the spirit real quick. They're going to start giving out shots in a nursing home called the Hebrew Home in New York. That's where they were starting. They had got the first ones. The Hebrew Home. Now what does this say? Through the spirit, they attacking Jake first. This is who they want to attack first. All right. You see the propaganda also on the news. Elder Manakta Zakba went over it when he was showing and explaining. Look, they're trying to say that the rich Edomites are getting it first, and this right here is going to have Jake say, "Well, I got to get mines because this." They getting theirs and it's no fair, so I gotta get mine. See, they're trying to work on Jake psychologically too. But you know what I'm saying? This whole thing is about getting us, killing us. Did not Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai say that he's gonna start in his sanctuary first? All right. He said he's gonna start at the house of the Most High. Also in Ezekiel, he said what? Start at my sanctuary. All right. So Israel's going to be attacked first in this. And also in New York, when it was first giving out the V's, you know what I'm talking about, they started at the Hebrew Home. It was a nursing home, and it was called the Hebrew Home. Now, through the spirit, we already know what that's talking about. All right, this is Psalms 83:3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Right, we're the hidden ones. All right, when it says thy people, that talking about the Israelites. And the upper echelon, the elites, is taking crafty counsel against us. All right, their main goal is to kill Jake and to microchip the population. They have something called the New World Order, which they've been planning for a very long time. We like to bring out this point, so I'm gonna bring it out right now. Look on the back of your dollar bill, you'll see Novos Ordo Seclorum, which is New Order of the Ages. And I believe on the top, I'm going to butcher this, but it says something like Nueptis, Coeptis, you get what I'm saying. The elders and apostles bring it out all the time. I'm butchering it, but it means crown with success. And then Novos Ordo Seclorum means New Order of the Ages or New World Order. So what's crown with success? The New World Order, which is not going to be crowned with success. All right? Because they're going to try to get it off, but they're not going to be able to. I'm pursuing to Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And then this be roughly paraphrasing it, but their enterprise is what? The NWO. But in this video, we're going to watch Bill Snakes talk about the next pandemic and how to stop it. And I didn't see this video yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be talking about more draconian type laws. Brothers just put up, and I reposted it. Brother just put up a video of a woman going to pick up her son from the airport that was coming from Arizona, and they tested him, and they disappeared her son. And they said that she can't call nobody. They won't tell her who took the son, who she can call to talk to. She can't do nothing. They said, and they also they backed it up by saying she don't have the right to do anything about it. So hey, it's happening, man. You brothers and sisters, be careful out there. But we got we got Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah covering us, man. All right. Anyway, let's hop inside of this video. And Shalaki, this is my Eve phone, so Word. All right, here we
You ever hear people talk about how they flip stuff, like flipping houses, flipping stocks, or even flipping items on eBay? And welcome to our exclusive interview with Bill Gates, the entrepreneur, Microsoft co-founder, software developer, and philanthropist. Thanks for being here.
Great to talk to you.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's annual letter has now just come out. You both write about how this pandemic, in your view, will be as defining as World War II. What are the key steps to take right now?
Well, we have to do two things at once. We have to bring this epidemic to an end, primarily by getting the vaccine out in large numbers to the entire world. And we have to make sure that we're ready because there will be another pandemic. And there's so many lessons about how we weren't prepared, how we should have handled things differently. And, you know, when that's clearly in our mind, those investments need to be made.
You mentioned being ready for the next time, and you warned about this last time. Let's take a brief look at a 2015 warning you issued.
If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic.
How ready?
But he also said in TED Talk, he gave an equation of things that release CO2. And one of the equations he said that he got to knock down was P, and that stands for people or the population. And he said if we work real hard on these, then we can knock that down to 10 to 15%. All right? So this is the same man who told you he's going to essentially murder you through V, trying to say we got to get the V's throughout the whole planet Earth. Come on now. Like Elder Apostle Gabar explained, man, you have owls and dragons. Well, it's you know, this other, it's the monkey, the parrot, the frog, and the owl and the dragon. But the reason I focus on owls and dragons is because that's what you get when you come over to GMS. I'm gonna start with the apostles and then the elders on down, and even us affiliate camps. You know, I'm not a part of GMS, but studying under them, you get on the owl type level, and if you're standing long enough, you get to that dragon type level. If you how about opens your mind up to that level, you know. But one of the traits of the dragon is he gets to see through very quickly what somebody's doing. They BS. So when somebody talks about, like Bill Snakes, when he says, warn of the next pandemic is coming and how to stop it. You see through that. I mean, just by the title alone, we know there's some bull. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else don't see that. And the thing is, you know you on this on a different type of level when the normal population just can't see it. And you're sitting there like you in disbelief on how easy it is to see through this. But the population is running out there, getting poked up, all right, passing out, dropping dead, paralyzing themselves, dying in their sleep, all right, shit swelling up all on them, catching heart attacks, healthy people dropping dead. Come on now. Come on. Catching Bell's palsy, you know. See, E is coming down with great wrath, man. Revelations 12:12, because he know he has but a short time. Now they're fact checking videos on other social media websites like Hate Book, like where if you show the the woman, I did this. I posted a video of the woman who caught Bell's palsy. She said she took the V, and 3 days later she was all fucked up. And they fact-checked it and said, well, there's no evidence. On her own video, there's no evidence that says that causes that. When literally, on the trials, they said people that was took part of the trials caught Bell's palsy. See, Esau this is his push right here, man. But I digress. Let's get back to the video.
Was the world for this, say on a scale of 1 to 10, and how about the U.S.?
The U.S. gets a low score because the understanding of how to get diagnostics up to scale early to stop the exponential spread, if that had been done well, we would have been more like an Australia or a South Korea, where the death toll is less than a tenth of the tragic situation in the United States. So we made mistakes before the epidemic in not investing more. And then during the epidemic, we also made mistakes. There's one category we did well, which was getting R&D money out to the vaccine companies. The U.S. was the biggest at that. And so at least, in that one area where we've set a model for the world.
You're very specific in your work and the letter about what should come next. You talk about a global alert system, infectious disease first responders, and germ games. Walk us through what some of that looks like and whether you think international organizations in the Biden administration can do more on that now.
Well, the great thing is that the tens of billions required for all that preparedness, it's the insurance policy that avoids you losing tens of trillions like we are globally right now. And so it's quite a bargain, even if you only look at what it can do to help during a pandemic. But those investments can also help us improve health on a much broader basis. So the mRNA vaccine can be used for TB and HIV. We're very excited about that, and we've been funding mRNA for over 10 years, and now it's accelerated its development. And getting those early warning systems in, that'll improve health all over the world. So this time, I think people will pay attention.
Your letter also goes really through a whole bunch of influences from...
What'd he say? This time, I think people will pay attention. Hey, Alex the Devil Jones, he was talking about that now they're going to release a super bug, a super virus,
The movie Contagion, to Winston Churchill, to you and your wife's interest in confronting systemic racism and structural racism. And you write that pandemics, quote, exploit pre-existing inequalities. And you're working and doing funding with historically black colleges on testing. Walk us through, what does this mean? Why does it happen this way? Does it have to be this way? And how do you fix it?
Well, it's pretty stunning that the infection rate and death rate in minorities has been over twice as high. And
You see that? You see? Saying the death in minorities, he talking about the so-called Black, Hispanics, Native Americans, has been twice as high. Meanwhile, we don't know any damn body that got anything. You see that? You see, we on the ground and we know. I remember when it first started popping off and they was talking about who it affects and all of this shit. I remember I was walking around just asking people, in the grocery store and saying, do you know anybody? And it was just like, no, only people who said, yeah, was the damn devils. All Jake was just like, nah, I don't know nobody. Do you know anybody that know anybody that possibly can know anybody? It's like, nah. See, and the thing is, you could go around and you can ask people this, man. And no, they won't know anybody. This right here, see, you could just see through this whole thing. Like I said before, through the spirit, they started at the Hebrew home in New York. Hey, man, come on. That should be cut and dry and simple to you. Especially Yahweh Shem Yahushua said that they was going to start. He's going to start in his sanctuary. So you already know where they're going to start. So you look at his whole body language, man. You could tell Snakes is lying. It's super high. The Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Man, I hope they don't take this video down. Because, now they starting to just clip. You can't say anything. You disagree with them, they cut you because you ain't an expert or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Well, anyway.
That really wouldn't have been expected. In fact, we need to understand it a lot better. It's partly multi-generational households. It's partly job occupation. It may have been the ability to communicate health messages to those households. I'm stunned at that. Sadly, I'm not stunned with the idea that the inner city schools were the least prepared with internet connections and training in order to do online education. And so the gap between the suburban schools and the inner city schools, which was already very large and a terrible inequity, it's been more dramatic in this last year than ever. And so we've got to reinvest in those schools, taking some of the good things we've learned about how we can use online tools, but helping those kids catch up.
Mr. Gates, trying to warn about pandemics and then protect people's lives during them doesn't sound that controversial. But as you know, and I think some of our viewers know, you have a lot of critics, including, for example, here's a Fox News host who is attacking you for advocating contact tracing in April. Take a look.
There's a new threat to our rights on the horizon, and it's being pushed by the second wealthiest man in the world. According to Gates, the only way to responsibly end the shutdowns is for a pretty vast surveillance system to be put in place, arguing that it will be unsafe to work or to travel or go to church or a ball game unless we give up our personal data. Well, I haven't seen the scientific proof for any of that.
Is that a fair...
So lock you for pausing in the middle, but that, I don't even want to say the name. I don't want them to take this video down, but okay, I'm just going to go ahead with it, man. That contact tracing, hey, that's one of the key things that they want to get off, because they can trace who you say. Let's say you tested positive for the the taboo virus, right? Or let's say Joe Schmo tested positive, that he went to the grocery store, and if everybody has that contact tracing app on their phone, then when he goes to the grocery store, everybody that was in that grocery store now gets contacted and says that they were in contact with somebody who had the C19. So they will have to quarantine. And not just the people who went there, also the workers. This right here shuts down jobs and all of that. All right? Grocery store, it don't matter what business, man. If somebody so-called tests positive, they're gonna say, well, you was in contact with this person, and not just you, people that was around you. And also they don't know where he touched. Y'all gonna have to all go home and quarantine for at least 2 weeks. All right? And before you come back, you're probably most likely going to have to test negative for the C19. All right? At my job, one of these dudes said his grandma had symptoms. It was Esau, had symptoms of the C19. They told him to go take a test. Or her test, she got to take a test. And that test better come back negative, or he gotta stay home. All right, now that's just right there. That's just the beginning. That was months ago. That was like last year, like I would say in like August or something. But anyway, hey, there you go. If somebody with that contact tracing thing gets funded and everybody has to download the app, well, the app is already on your phone. Well, basically give up their information to track you everywhere. If you go in somewhere and somebody has the C19 or tested positive, because we out here, we all know the whole thing is bullshit. We're not gonna go get tested, but these people out here, they gonna go get tested. So after they get tested and their results come back, oh, you positive. then if we went to the Family Damn Dollar and this asshole that got tested and they, gave him the test, positive, because those tests, for lack of better words, they're very inaccurate. They tested a Coca-Cola and they said it was positive. They tested a papaya and they said it was positive. So of course, I already know how that's going to be if you go take the test. But this asshole takes the test and it comes back positive, and he goes to the Family Dollar at the same time as you, or not even at the same time as you. He just went there and he touched certain things because they could say they live on the surface for about 72 hours, live on the surface of things and glass and metal and shit like that. Well, they're gonna hit you up and tell you that you got to quarantine. All right.
Assessment of what you're trying to do, and what's your response?
Your car dealer will hate me for showing you this because I'm about to rip away their big fat commission check and put it back into your pocket.
Well, contact tracing was incredibly beneficial in places like South Korea. And, we'd have hundreds of thousands of people alive today in the U.S. if we had done that. The data, you don't actually have to give up your personal data. That's not a fair way of describing it. Some societies really chose to make that work. Sadly, because of our mistakes in diagnostics, our numbers got so large that even the states that made an effort, the benefits of the contact tracing wasn't gigantic. So it's really as you get down in, lower infection rates, like 3-4%, then the contact tracing helps drive that down even lower.
When you look at that kind of disagreement or attack, do you see it as just ignorant or also malicious? Because there's a lot on the internet, the stuff that's not true, we're not giving airtime to, but that tries to rope you into something.
Yeah, so both myself and Dr. Fauci featured in conspiracy theories. Like one says that Dr. Fauci's trying to make money off of these vaccines. And
see, here you go. Here you go. Now, him and Rat Fauci, snake and a rat, and sitting there conspiring to say, well, maybe there should be some censorship on the internet because there's so-called conspiracy theorists out there that's basically pulling their card. You know what I'm saying? They use that word conspiracy to make you seem bugged out and wacky, but truly, a lot of it is true. All right, that Snakes owns the patent to the C19. Him and Fauci owns the patent. See, that's not a conspiracy theorist. It's a y'all conspired, and now people pulling your card and giving facts about it. All right, and just to let you know, this whole thing is scripted, man. They let Snakes know what questions that they're gonna ask him before he gets on and stuff like that. He's kind of shaking, about being on air. The dude's a nervous guy. You know what I'm saying? So don't fall into it like, he looks like that he's actually upset or something like that. That's more that psychological shit. He already knows what type of questions that's gonna be asked. But right there, that's them wanting to censor the internet, which is basically gonna all go into attacking the prophets. They don't give a damn about what the rest of these people are thinking. All right, they really want to hit us. Because don't forget, we're talking about what's really going to happen at the end. Esau's fate / what he's doing right now, and tied it into scriptures. With his universal income and forced vaccine, forced microchipping, gulags, or whatever you want to call them. Even if you want to call them a gulag, re-education camp, labor camp, FEMA camp, detention centers, whatever you call them, they're prisons. We're tying that in. Esau's just talking about that tip. Oh, the New World Order, and they want to do this, and that to you. We're talking about that, and we're tying his fate into it. We're also telling him that he's going to fail. You know what I'm saying? We told him he was going to do all this before he started pushing it forward. All right? And that's nothing but the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh on us, man. We have that spirit of prophecy on us. Anyway.
And various negative things about me. You're encouraging people not to trust the advice on masks or taking the vaccine, and that could be damaging. It's a new phenomena. I don't know, will it hurt the vaccine uptake where everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal? It's a completely unexpected phenomena, and sadly, a lot of it's based on false information.
Yeah, just one follow-up on that, which is you're known to be both effective and an optimist. What do you say to people who look at this and feel like scientists, experts, and you warned and gave the public information, and by your own assessment today, it still didn't go very well according to the government policies in charge, and you're out here still working on it? What do you say to people who are pessimistic about either failure or incompetence and lies winning out?
Well,
You ever hear about people flipping stuff? Like flipping houses, flipping stocks, or flipping items on eBay?
Whenever you make mistakes, you have to learn from them. And the U.S. has so much talent, so much ability to get things right, so much ability to lead the world and help. Almost every infectious disease event of the last 100 years, the U.S. Played a very strong role. The CDC is the most respected health organization. In this one, we didn't set a good example, and we even withdrew from the WHO. So, it wasn't our finest hour, but I remain optimistic, and I look at the new team that's engaged, looking at the science, being willing to deliver the bad news that the next few months are going to continue to be tough. And, I feel great that we're correcting some of the mistakes that were made.
You mentioned the new team. Was President Biden right to rejoin the WHO, and have you spoken to him recently, or will you?
I spoke to him, Melinda and I, soon after the election, and the pandemic was definitely one of the key topics there. And we're thrilled that he's rejoined the WHO, because that's where you share best practices. That's where you make sure the numbers are there to see what's going on. For example, understanding these variants that are a bit scary because they are more transmissive, and we'll get data soon on whether the vaccines are slightly less effective or not. And so, yes, it's kind of a common sense move to bring the world together, because it's us versus the disease. And every one of these vaccines involved scientists in many countries, and the trials were done in many countries. No country alone could possibly deal with this.
In the letter, you discussed how so many people are struggling, so many people grieving because of COVID, and you yourself discussed not even being able to gather in person for your father when he died in September. He was famously proud of you, and people like myself from Seattle know about his work and yours. And I did just want to play a little bit of him, if you don't mind us showing this.
Right.
Let me introduce Bill Gates, the largest philanthropist in the history of the world.
How do you feel when you're able to introduce him at something?
There are no words to describe it. How much pride can you have? Whatever the highest number is, that's where I am.
Your reflections on what he taught you?
Well, my dad both, set a good example.
Man, don't fall for the tear jerk. They trying to pluck a few heartstrings. Don't fall for that. All right, whatever.
And was always willing to tell me when he thought I should do better. He personally, with Patty Stonecipher, helped create the foundation while I was still full-time at Microsoft, and so his integrity really set the culture of that organization. My dad's example is one that I'll never match, but he made so much difference, and he was always cheering me on. Loved the fact he was involved, and so it's sad. He lived a great life. He was 94 when he.
This nigga said it's sad. These motherfuckers don't care, man. Whatever, man. This thing is about the so-called, read the title, Bill Snakes warns the next pandemic is coming and how to stop it. All right? I don't want to say the one thing.
And so we did have to limit that getting together and sharing our thoughts and our grief. But no one's ever been luckier in terms of who their dad was.
He worked with you and your family on really beginning to think about and give away so much of the wealth you created. Four largest companies in America.
It's, we've got to have rules about it, but wow, the magic of software, the internet, the ability to look at data, let scientists collaborate. Technology has done some phenomenal things. And so, my whole life I've been evangelizing that, let's take advantage of it to improve education, to improve health. There's a lot more to be done, but there's a lot of amazing work those companies are responsible for. And up until my foundation work, that was my whole focus was that work, and it continues.
You were celebrated for it. The company famously took heat for it. I'm curious, as we look out today, the government definitely went at Microsoft for alleged anti-competitive behavior. We're not here to relitigate all that today, but there's a lot of informed people who look at the big tech companies today and think they're not getting it as hard as you did. Do you think today's CEOs...
All right, if you want to watch the rest, just go to this, it's titled Bill Snakes warns the next pandemic is coming after C-19 and how to stop it. They're just really talking about other things,
Know how lucky they may be, and will that...
Important now, it's not surprising that the governments are looking at, competition of technology and making sure that
all concerned when tech companies can make basically unchecked decisions to take people off their platforms, that they might get the call right a lot, but then not. Any advice or thoughts on that?
There's clearly trade-offs involved where, false information, that, causes riots or people not to trust medicines or rewrites, history like Holocaust denial. How you draw the line and who's in a position to do that is a great thing for people to be debating. I haven't seen a great solution where you draw the line in a way that everybody feels comfortable with who's doing the interpretation and how it works. There's been a lot of bad stuff on social media, and I'm glad at least some of that is being held back. As you say, you might go too far, but
so he's saying this, he's glad that some people are being censored. This is really talking about us, all right? Esau's saying some stuff too, but this is really focused on us. They don't want to get exposed that they're the Edomites. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to come back and put them in slavery. Those chariots are really housing, or really what's in them, are so-called big black men. All right? Yahweh Shai, who was a so-called black man, is coming back in one of those chariots, a fathership. All right? They don't want that out. They know they got but a short time. All right? So really it's the focus on us. It's not, hell, it has shit to do with nobody else. Other people might get censored, Esau, Elon, whatever. Oh, see, they censoring me. This is my 4th YouTube channel. This is my 4th Twitter account. Because you exposing some shit too. But it's really not. It's really not about you. They gonna take your ass out in this next foul swoop, after they come get them straps from you. When they get a few things in place, they're gonna come take Esau guns. That's just it. And in my opinion, that's gonna be it's gonna be the next civil war. All right, Civil War 2.0. You heard.
My tech career is largely over now. I'm a champion for health. And this next generation's got to solve this problem.
Yeah, understood. You've always been your own boss, but you also have a little bit of a style that is sometimes called being boss. The difference being, as you know, not whether you're technically the boss, but whether you have that confidence. And we were looking through the archives and we found a great example of this. A young...
All right, I hope this was edifying. And with that, I'm saying shalom.